Hey folks, Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. Folks, we are back. We're going live today. We are streaming on, excuse me, YouTube, Facebook, my personal profile, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. Today, I had to jump on live, folks. The United States land itself is being devastated. Excuse me, I just swallowed. Pause. Whew, man, just went down the wrong pipe. Pause again. The United States land soil is being devastated. And when I'm talking about land, I'm talking about the disaster that is going on in East Palestine, a village in Ohio. You all may not have heard about this because, of course, in our country, we are so, um, what can I say? We're so mesmerized by everything else that doesn't matter. We're mesmerized by the Super Bowl, and we everything that is of no value to us that actually doesn't affect our lives. I had more people asking me about what I thought of the Eagles losing or Kansas City winning than what's going on in East Palestine, Ohio. Okay, so if you don't know where East Palestine, Ohio is, I'm going to read it off to you. Okay, and again, did anybody else know about this? Because I'm just going to ask anybody. Anybody know about this at all? No one. No one. Anybody? Okay. Everybody knows the score of the Eagles game, though, right? We watched that, right? But we didn't know that this was going on. So, East Palestine, and that's Palestine in Ohio, not Palestine as in the other country. East Palestine is a village in northeast Columbiana County, Ohio. All right. It may not be a great significance to anyone else, but this is toxic chemicals that have been released because a train derailed. This was sometime last week that this happened. And we haven't heard about it because, of course, everybody's got to make their money with Super Bowl ads and things like that. This is a population of 4,761 residents, according to the 2020 census. The East Palestine is actually on the border of Ohio and Pennsylvania. All right. It's about 20 miles south of Youngstown and 40 miles northwest of Pittsburgh. All right. So again, I know it may not suit you, may not matter. Why does it matter? Why does any of this matter? Well, let's take a look here, folks. Let me go ahead and just share with you all. And while we're at it, folks, you might have seen now, I'm going live now. I'm actually going to get up and show my opinion. We're going live with your Uncle Phil. I use Uncle Phil as like, on the Fresh Prince. Shout out to Better Bachelor. Better Bachelor actually covered this the last few days, and he's been asking for people to like and share and share the news of what's going on because again, where does this relate to land? You'll ask. I'll get to that and tell you how. But again, the riverways, the waterways that are exiting out of this area, they lead somewhere. They're going to have the rivers, the toxic chemicals that have been spilling out into the actual environment. They've done evacuations of this area in the local town. They've done it by the nearby town, and it won't matter until you start getting aches and pain. You might say, "Well, I'm in Louisiana. Well, I'm in Philadelphia. Will it matter?" Yeah, it will matter because the water, the chemicals are going. This dispersing into the air. All right. One thing I want to know is where are all the climate change environmentalists, the G7 people at on this one? All right. This is not fossil fuels that are being spilled into the environment. These are chemicals, toxic chemicals, chemicals which we use till this day. Anything called PVC, if you've ever heard of that, those chemicals that are used to make this kind of material and others are being spilled and are actually burned out now. They're actually doing a burn on it into our air, going which the air actually, it's going to produce some rain at some point. It's going to get mixed into the air, and that's going to be circulating around for all of us to breathe in, right? My question is where's the G7 on this one? Where's the EPA on this one? Where is the national news coverage on this one? Where was this during the Super Bowl then, right? Where is this on every TikTok feed? This actually has far it's the waterways are going to empty out into the ocean at some point, and everybody's going to go to the beach this summer. Great job, right? So again, folks, let's just cover this a little bit here. I'm actually going to share my screen and try to do this here because I mean, this is a L for the leadership here because I mean, I want to know where is everyone else? Where is the government leadership on this one? Nowhere, huh? Nowhere, huh? Where is all the climate people? Anywhere? Where is the national summit on this one? Where is this is a national this is a national incident that's going on that is not being covered everywhere that we don't think has any effects on us. One of the real reasons why I'm even bringing this up is because we're going to see how this flows down into southern states, how again this is another thing that is going to affect minority communities. This is another thing that's going to affect even affluent communities. Again, we're being told about, everything else that matters except for the things that directly affect us right now, right? This is going to be going into black, brown, white communities as well. This is going to be spreading into everywhere else. So what do we have to cover today? The new TikTok dance. We got to cover what else are we covering today? Um Rihanna's pregnant, right? We got that one. She's got her second kid coming around, right? Those are all the things that are going. We also have the Michigan incident, right? But this one right here is far affecting us through. This would be far-reaching effects that are going to infect our communities, our families. Your own health is going to be affected. And again, it's not something people are paying attention to because we have what's right up in front of us, and this is the everything is fine but the building's burning down behind us. So let's jump right into this. So I want to get to this part. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. We're going to do this is actually okay. We're going to get one news coverage. This is going to be from one of the news stations here, and this is covered by what is this, U.S. News here. So this is as of February 6th. Officials on Monday completed the release of toxic chemicals that have been carried on a train that derailed over the weekend in eastern Ohio. Officials have warned that the chemical could be deadly if inhaled. The release of vinyl chloride, a toxic flammable gas used to produce vehicle interiors, right? So the climate issue, climate change, people don't drive cars now. Your vehicle interiors is made by this chemical. This is not gas, burning of fossil fuels. This is something that we use to produce the interiors of your vehicles, right? PVC piping. All right. Everybody loves PVC, from gardening to, use it in your house to waterways. The PVC piping, this release of this chemical, vinyl chloride, which is used again in vehicle interiors, PVC piping. The release of it and was completed late Monday afternoon after evacuations. That's right, folks, evacuations were expanded to East Palestine, the site of Friday night's derailment. Here's your picture here, right? Everything is fine. The release was successfully completed. A burn off of material will continue past nightfall. All right. This is what's going on right now. A federal emergency alert system message on Monday urging the residents of East Palestine and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's Darlington Township to leave immediately. 500 people's defied orders to leave. Of course, we're always going to have people defying orders to leave, even if it's chemicals. The what I'm trying to figure out is 2 of the 5 train cars. This is before the Super Bowl happened, folks. This is before the Super Bowl happened. And before the Super Bowl happened, we had this happen. I didn't hear about it until just a few days ago. All right. 2 of the 5 train cars believed to be carrying the vinyl chloride were likely to have been filled with gas. Okay, so you got to understand that this actually, I believe vinyl chloride has a liquidation factor like 8 degrees. So it's actually, what does this say? It's a liquid, but it's being filled with gas, and temperature changes could have set it off. The left leaders with left leaders with 2 bad choices release a gas known for its deadly potential if inhaled and associated risk with higher risk of cancer, or stand back for an extended period of time with the potential for an explosions. They said the explosion would come with two dangers, including the same one that came with the control release. The vinyl chloride contents of 5 rail cars are currently unstable and could potentially explode, causing deadly disbursement of shrapnel and toxic fumes. Here you go, folks. This is what's being released into our environment. Don't hear any climate change people on this one. Black plumes rise as a result of the controlled detonation. There are homes right behind here. There is 177,000 pounds of the chemical, the National Guard official said. Not clear how much of it was in others. Could I ask a question? Okay, because I'm going to go down to the bottom of this one. The initial observations from the National Transportation Safety Board, which is leading the investigation, include video and inspection evidence of a broken axle on one of the cars. I remember that, if you recall, just a few short months ago, there was a railroad strike, right? Them talking about maintenance of the trains, their discussion of I believe it was a strike. It was just what, like a few months ago, 2022. This was going over in 2022. The railroad workers were complaining about pay, pension, long hours, lack of maintenance of our infrastructure. Where is Build Back Better? Because this ain't building better. Our railroad, our railroads have not been updated for how long? We have billions, and I'm saying with a B, billions of tax dollars going out for declining and failing infrastructure. Now, people are going to ask me, how does this connect to land? Okay, so one thing I do see up here is these are homes right behind you. All right. Ohio has, there's a lot of farmland in Ohio. Okay. There's corn that's farmed in Ohio. There's land acreage. There are people living in different parts of Ohio. I mean, I would go as to say this also is going to concern parts even further out from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right? I live east of Pittsburgh, which is about 8 to 10 hours away from my location. I'm in the Philadelphia area. The waterways that these chemicals are going to spill out from, when the chemicals being burned, as you can see, this big old ploof going into the sky, the sky is completely black. Okay. And I'm going to go to Twitter now and show you a Twitter feed, because what they're saying, at first they were saying, hey, it's fine. The media is saying, hey, it's fine. Now everyone's kind of switching over to it's not that fine. The railroad, what is this? Norfolk Southern trains. This is the train system. All right. That I guess owns the railroad system, Norfolk Southern. They're the train company, or the railroad company, that is responsible for carrying these chemicals to their destination. I want to ask everyone again, where is our Build Back Better? You look at this image here, okay? These are our railroads. This is our infrastructure. This is land around at the upper part, land in the southern ones here. You have agricultural devastation to the likes that we don't know. This is chemicals going into the actual air here, okay? Going into the air. Chemicals go up into the air. That's where the clouds are. That's where our breathing air is. Eventually, it's going to rain when with these chemicals still in our air system. That rain drops down into the soil, onto animals. There are videos of animals flying and dying, the natural wildlife devastation, the destruction of the landmass, the land area in Ohio. I mean, this is just. I mean, I want to look at this on a map. I'm going to actually bring this up. Let me go to this next screen. I'm going to stop sharing real quick. Okay, folks, make sure you donate. I'm on Cash App, $ Ancestry Lands, and on Venmo, Ancestry Lands. Donate for the show, folks. We're actually starting to go live. We're at 54,000 subscribers. We're trying to build something a little bit more to protect the community, to educate folks on why land ownership matters, to understand why business ownership matters. All people need to start having business, building up communities. The reason why this matters so much, when you look at our manufacturing in this country, when you look at how much we do not produce, you look at the GDP, gross domestic product, you look at how much that we have to buy things such as oil from other countries, how we're owing debt to other countries such as China. China's bought up our debt. We're basically living off of everyone else's production. We are. We're not producing anything. We're not producing better students. We're not producing more families. We're not producing competitive jobs. We're not producing competitive children or generations that can compete on a global level. We're not producing any of it. We are consumers. We are consuming everything. We're no longer a nation of readers. We're no longer a nation of leaders. We're a nation of people who are buying whatever's being sold to us. My father once told me, he said, son, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Anything. And that's what we're doing. We're falling for anything right now. Our media, which is supposed to be the media in the United States, the people, and I don't understand it. It's like everyone is going against their own interests, the self destruction of our own country. Our media outlets are supposed to be journalists that report the news, not their opinions. That's what the YouTubers are for. That's what the Twitter people are for. That's what social media content creators are for. You all, the journalists, are supposed to report on what's happening so we can stay informed and protect ourselves, not your own interest. This devastation that's going on is going to be affecting you and your children too. How stupid can you be that you don't report on what's happening? Why are your allegiances with social parties rather than what matters to the actual American people? Your children, here's the thing I don't understand is that we feel that we're so separate from each other, but our children are going to be intermingling with each other. If you've ever visited a place, there are people who live there. If you've ever, my wife's from California, I grew up on the East Coast. You're going to find love and relationships with people from all over different walks of life in all different sections of the United States. And your children are going to mingle with them. The Clintons' children are going to be amongst my children and the rest of the people out there. You can't escape the fact that everyone's going to be working or using the service of someone else during this time. And this devastation that's happening over here is going to affect our waterways. It's going to affect our ability to grow crops. It's going to drive food prices up. And again, what do we have? Another song and dance. Oh, Rihanna's pregnant. Congratulations, Rihanna. I've been a nurse. Salute to her. But the Super Bowl went on and we didn't know any about this, that, hey, coming to you, here's another dose of bringing down the American system. Now, I don't want to be a little connecting here, but if we start connecting the dots, these balloons flying up over areas all over the land seem to be right around the same time that this happened. Is there a coincidence? I don't know. I'm asking for a friend. You know what I mean? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But again, these waterways, I'm going to try to pull this up on a map here. The waterways are where the water actually goes down to into this area. They're saying that these waterways are going to go down into states like Missouri, Mississippi, all the way down to Louisiana. This is going to be picked up and pushed out into the Philadelphia areas and into the ocean. So where is this going to be? I don't know how the currents flow, but is this going to be moving over to Florida? Is this going to be on the East Coast right in time for summertime? Get your bikinis out, folks. Let's go dipping in the vinyl chloride ocean that we have right now. It's like, what is it, Jeopardy? What kind of weather do we want to swim in now? And again, all these private beaches that they have, my family's down south in Virginia. There's private areas of the beach along the Chesapeake Bay, right? Virginia Beach is some private areas. So, I think in the summertime, a few years back when the lockdowns were happening, they saw, what's his name? Chris Christie, governor of New Jersey. He was out there tanning with his family in a private beach. Guess what, Mr. Christie, all you private billionaires, 1%, that water you're sharing, you can't get out of that. You don't care about this, that this is happening. But again, you're going to get it too. It's not like you can clean the water only where you're at. When are we going to start actually caring about what happens in our own country? The summertime, everyone's going to be swimming in a mix of vinyl chloride water. That you're going to be swimming in it. It's a toxic chemical that you shouldn't breathe in, but also this will affect fishing. This is going to, and then it'll just mix around into the world. So again, where are the climate people on this one? Where were the security measures or the safety measures for transporting this stuff cross country? I mean, I think in Japan they have railway systems that are more modernized than we are. We have Build Back Better. Tons of our tax dollars are going everywhere else, but actually to where we need it. You've got schools down in Baltimore, the school systems being sued because most of the kids in that area are below the reading levels. They said that, in California, one of the number one states back in the 70s for education, the reading levels of the students, they're not even on an 8th grade level. I mean, this is what's happening. And the thing is that there's no investment really going into these programs. Yeah, we're being, even now, Black History Month, my kids are being taught Chinese stuff in Black History Month. Not that they need to be taught, just all Black stuff, but again, they're doing dragon projects when we should be studying about great inventors of this country. We should be talking about people here that are making a difference. We're on Chinese educational. Not that anything's wrong with that, but I'm sure in China, they don't talk about African American Black History Month when they're in China. They don't celebrate it there. I mean, what are we doing? This is bringing chemicals down into the waterways, into the southern states. This is going to bring chemicals into the eastern states, the northeast states. I mean, who knows where there's going to be swirling around west? And all in all, what we have here is the media don't want to cover it. I mean, this should be this should be just as equivalent it is as the California fires, because this is going to affect your children, my children. But again, we've been taught and locked into low value, low mindset content, low mindset, low informational content. If it's not, a clip, if it's not a soundbite, if it's not someone giving a motivational, inspirational speech, if it ain't about dollars, then it don't make sense. But again, this does matter. This needs to be shared, talked about. I'm going to go to Twitter now, and I just want to share this screen here with this is a person by the name of Mr. Kraken. I believe this gentleman, he actually lives in the area. He said the general public, if you can't see here, it says the general public was not informed of the other chemicals. We had to find out 6 a.m. Saturday in a 6 a.m. Saturday letter that was made public. Our kids go back to school tomorrow, and we're being told it's safe and not to worry. This is a travesty. Here we go again. Okay, this is February 6th. My kids go to school in East Palestine. Shout out to Mr. Kraken on Twitter. I work in the school district. This was sadly the best case scenario in a long list of less viable options. I don't know when our town gets back to normal. I'm not sure if we get back to normal. It's just been an unbelievable last 4 days. This is crazy. I mean, and this is going to be going up into this plume of smoke that has still been burning to this very day. This is back on the 6th that this is happening. This is back on the 6th this happened. Super Bowl was the 12th. It's a whole week later that this chemical is spilling out into the land. You've got foxes dying. You've got crows acting erratically and dying. People are reporting that they're the chemical, the plume, the misting that's coming down is actually pitting paint. That means that when you go to wash or you're using anything else, this could be potentially in your water. This is like Flint, Michigan all over again. And where do the waters drain down to? This is going to corrupt the soil, the land, the living conditions of people in a town and a village. I don't know. How do we have village? Could I ask people a question? I know it's East Palestine, Ohio. I never even heard of a village in the United States. I mean, they're calling this a village. How is this a village? Isn't it just a town? I mean, I lived in local areas. I've heard of townships. I've heard of, cities, towns. I've never heard of a village. I mean, that's a new one for me. This says this is a village. I've never heard of a village inside the United States, but that's not really the issue here. And again, what do we have from our leaders? Not just that, but we're talking about taking away the RA-15s. I'm going to just say it that way. We're taking away our Second Amendment rights. We're taking that away. They're shooting down balloons here that they can't even track. There's 4 or 5 of them all over everywhere. They're watching you shower. They're watching me shower. If you're picking your nose in your car, probably the balloon picked it up. You want to be on TikTok, you'll be on TikTok when they put out there how you were picking your nose in China on China's TikTok. That for the world to see, right? Yeah, if you're kissing your wife going outside the door, the balloon done picked you up. It picked you up doing everything. All right. They know more about what's going on over here than we do know about what's going on over there. And again, who's talking about it? Just look at this. We had the balloons going on last week, all these shot down balloons, and then here we have this disaster that's not even being talked about. Are the balloons a distraction? Is this really real what's happening right now? Or are we just being led astray? We're being told another lie, right? I'm not understanding it, folks. I'm not getting it one bit. But again, we're going to have far reachings down. These are carcinogens. Anybody know what carcinogens are? Carcinogens are cancer-causing substances that are being leaked into our oceans and waterways. These townships will have rainfall on them that will be affecting everything from what the animals eat, from what the people are breathing in. It'll be in your soil. It'll be in your food. It'll be on your skin. It'll be on your car. It'll be on everything you touch. And again, these are just regular chemicals. These are not fossil fuels. These are chemicals being spread out into our air and to there. And again, we don't even know if this is something, if this is just an accident, or is this a lack of leadership and management, maintenance. You had the what was it? The train conductor the railroad. Oh, I know. Okay, Taunted Tiger. He said they don't care about our health. I know they don't care about our health. You're right. It's obvious. But again, where are the people complaining about? You know what we can do to combat that is we're having a conversation. That's why I jumped on. Taunted Tiger. What is that? Taunted Tiger. Shout out to Taunted Tiger for commenting here. Yeah, what happens is we're sharing this information. Musk was right about one thing, as we can see with the Twitter files and all of this stuff that's going on now. There's been a whole bunch of lying. There's a whole bunch of people at the top worried about them making money, them getting the bag. All right. Shout out to you again, Taunted Tiger. I believe that's Taunted Tiger. Woo, that's a tongue twister there. Woo, on Valentine's Day too. You know, shout out to Taunted Tiger. Listen, I'm gonna give everybody some game right now. This is on the fly. This is live. Just to let you know how I am. Shout out. Listen, you're live with your Uncle Phil right now. If you ever want to make a woman happy or man happy, if you're ever doing anything with them to make them go ooh wee, just do a little Taunted Tiger. Just say that while you're doing your thing, and I guarantee you'll get a good response. Right? Shout out to Taunted Tiger. It's a tongue twister. That's what you're gonna need. All right. Just say that 5 times really fast, and I think you'll get a good response. You might get what you want. If it's a girl, you might get them diamonds. If it's a guy, I don't know. You might just end up with a coke and a smile at the end of the night. But yeah, you know, and the thing about it is that we're constantly seeing that what they care about, what they say and what they do is 2 different things. What they say and what they do are 2 different things. And the worst thing about it is that they have us going against each other. They have us fighting amongst each other. That's the plan. Because incompetence can always be shielded by infighting. You don't need to know what other people are doing wrong when you're focused on the differences between each other. You don't need to focus on what's going wrong in the world when you have the short range distraction right up in front of your face. And then they've got our kids stuck into it too. They got our kids right where they want them, right in front of the screens, right glued to this, not talking about what happens. I'm going to give you guys some helpful advice. This is what I do with my kids every day. And this is for the parents out there. Shout out to the parents out there who are really parenting their kids. When I say parenting your kids, my wife and I discuss things a lot. One of the things that I've talked with my wife about doing with my children is that You're used to doing laundry. My two oldest are 8 and 6. Well, we had them starting to put clothes into the dryer. I take them out, dump them in the dryer, they put them in. Our kids need to be taught responsibility. There need to be taught, keyword taught, responsibility. Okay. You have to show and guide our children. Give them tasks around the house. That's what we do with my children. Put the clothes into the dryer. Here's how you start the dryer. Here's how you do a little bit of the liquid here to start the washing machine. The only way, we can't keep complaining about the screens that we keep giving our children. What we need to start doing is teaching our children again. I had to take my son had a doctor's appointment yesterday. He had an earache, right? Shout out to my son, man. He's feeling better. He's got some antibiotics in him. The school called me, told me, hey, your son's got an earache. Took him to the doctor. The nurse that triage just the local doctor, she's like, wow, he has so much manners because he's taught to say thank you. He's taught to say please. When he's looking at talking to someone, he's answering a question. I say, hey, son, make sure you look him in the eye. Even do it with my daughter. Look him in the eye. She's amazed that my child, 6 years old, has manners. And I said, it's good old fashioned parenting. That there's no secret sauce. There's no new way to do it. Parenting has been, when I say parenting, I'm talking about teaching your kids to be responsible adults. That has been done for thousands of years. We don't need to reinvent it with new techniques that don't work. She was amazed. And I said, it's just basic parenting. It's look someone in the eye when you're speaking to them. Answer their question. They're speaking to you. Say thank you, say please, be civil enough where people can notice who you are. Now, she's noticing the content of my son's character, not how cute his curls are. That's what she's noticing. And it's no different when my children have chores around the house. So when I get to a point of talking about concepts like this, my children are now becoming more aware and more engaged because teaching our children along the way, like how to do laundry, how to put the clothes in the dryer, how to start, and I make them both go do it, go fold the clothes. You taking ownership within your household starts to take ownership around in your neighborhood. Then it branches out to the state, to your country. And things like this matter. This explosion, this devastation that's happening, this stuff matters. But again, it starts when you start at home. Anyone who may be a new parent one day, that's where you start at with parenting. You engage with your kids. I'm not a very like Mr. Fix It stuff like that. My dad is like great with fixing stuff. He concentrated on education, but even now, my father and I, we work together. We'll do stuff around the house. I'm engaging with him on building stuff with my kids. Hey, you got this responsibility to do around the house, and that translates into you now have responsibility in your neighborhood to make sure that you care about your neighborhood. But you give them tasks in there. You talk to your children about what's going on and how it affects them. We as parents have to do the thing to educate our kids. We can't rely them to go to school. Even an A student at a school can make enough mistakes to become a failure in life. How true is that? How many people have you ever seen that have been the top students in school, but in real life they suck at making good decisions within their life? Whether it's a partner, whether it's who they hang around with, their environment will always be something that affects them. And again, it starts with us teaching our children at home responsibility, not just what to do, how to do it. That's the biggest draw. Is you got to teach your children how to do things and also explain to them why they're doing them, why something does and doesn't work. It's a process. Like I told my wife, I said, my kids will be graduating at 16 years old because they skipped a grade. Because we only have 8 years with my daughter and another 10 years with my son until they say, hey parent, I'm out of here, I'm going to go to college to do it on my own. You have that little bit of time once they start going to school to teach them what they need to be prepared for in life. And that's the problem. We're being led in this country by idiots, by people who do not have accountability or the responsibility that comes with their authority. With authority comes responsibility. You've heard that with great power comes great responsibility. But again, the people in charge are not taking accountability, nor are leading in a fashion or an acts, and they're not leading with the authority that comes with the responsibility. This is, again, climate control, fossil fuels. The people going to the G7 are taking jets, private jets, to get to the G7 summit, G20 summit. That they're contradicting, they're talking to us, contradicting themselves at the same time that they're talking about what we should do. So climate change is really not for them, it's for us. It's for us to live with less. It's for you and I to live with less. It's for our children to live with less so they can have more. It's so that way they can be in control and they can be safe. It's the I'm good, I don't know about you. That's what's happening here. And again, this disaster that's going on, this explosion that happened, this release of toxic chemicals into our environment are going to have far reaches on our children's health, our family's health. And again, what does it do? It creates more patients in the future. It creates a larger pool of patients in the future. I don't know if they tried to get rid of us during the 2020, 2021 thing. I mean, you've seen stuff with Gates talking about reductions in population. They're trying to reduce the population, and it just seems like you can poison the environment enough to see who's left behind. I don't know. But again, I'm asking a question. I'm just asking for a friend. Everything's okay. That's what they're saying. Everything's fine, right? Everything is fine. Let me ask you a question, all right? Let me ask you, does this look fine? Does this look fine to you? Not the woman here to the right, but I'm talking about this image here. Does this look fine to you? Let me ask you this question. Okay. Let me ask you this question right here. Ask you this question right here. Let's just see. Does this look fine? Okay. Let me take off the banner here. So does this look fine to you? This big old pluming. This is not someone's this is not like a house on fire. This is a chemical fire. Vinyl chloride is the stuff they use to make PVC is being burned into the atmosphere. And they want to talk about carbon footprints. What about chemical footprints? I want to know about chemical footprints right now. Burned into here. All of these people here and these homes that are within a stone's throw away from this area, they're breathing it in. They're going to have health problems. If they're having children or going to have children, their children will have health problems. The health problems can be genetically passed down. I'm not a geneticist, I'm not a chemist, but again, your body, your health of your body passes down either broken genes or broken DNA that will be inherited to your children. Then we'll have another wave of things that they're saying are wrong with our children here. I don't get it. I don't get it. And we're being told to hate each other. We're being told to man against woman, cat versus dog, tomato versus orange. Did I say tomato versus orange? But you know what I mean, in all seriousness, right? Our families are being broken up. We're being told volcanoes are less toxic. Jeez Louise. Yeah, right. Where's a volcano when you need one, right? Right? Taunted tiger. Volcanoes are less toxic than what's going on here. And again, this ain't gas, this ain't anything else, right? In addition to that, I mean, again, what are we not being told about? What they're doing over in Africa, right? With the cobalt mining, right? The child labor that's going on there. We don't want to talk about it, but it's going on. But we got the Super Bowl there. Again, I'm not saying anything to people not shy. I live near Philly, so shout out to somebody dropped off because obviously they're not Eagles fans. I'm not a fan of the Eagles, but I live in the Eagles area. I've been more of a science guy all my life. But again, this stuff is going on and we're being showed, oh, let's talk about Rihanna's pregnant. Next thing you know, there'll be something with a Kardashian getting a new hairdo, a new hairstyle. And our kids don't even know anything about. I mean, again, I'm just using the Baltimore school system as an example. They had 23 school districts that were below the proficiency level for reading and math. Okay. And again, how are we competing on a global economy? All right. Where I live at now, there are a lot of Eastern Indians, from India that are here. They're working in IT. Shout out to my Eastern Indian neighbors, but they're coming over here looking for opportunities. I'm going to stop sharing real quick. They're coming over here looking for opportunities to work. They either come here, work, they either become citizens or they work on workplace visas. They own property. You can buy land in America. You don't need to be a citizen to own property here. I said this in my other video about talking about these balloons floating all around the place that they can't seem to find or understand anything about. Um, they can buy property here. Now it's home of the free land and brave, but again, the citizens in this country are the one being affected because we're selling America on the cheap. America's not producing anything. We don't own anything. We consume everything, and we teach our people to be consumers as well. We teach them to get credit card debt. We don't teach them how to understand credit card debt, how to utilize credit card debt. America's objective should be to empower Americans with knowledge to be global citizens dominating the rest of the world. When I say that, I'm not talking about in an oppressive way, but I'm talking about that citizens here, our businesses should all be exporting goods out of the country. This is the reason why you can go on any social media platform, and every product being sold by another country is on their sites. It's to the points where you can't even say anything bad about them because you have Americans protecting foreign interest against Americans who have a problem with it. Again, I don't understand what we're doing here, but these people, I don't know. Maybe they're doing the thing to Mars, and that's what they're planning on doing, is that they're gonna go live on another planet. But if that doesn't work, you right down here with the rest of us, right? How is that gonna work? What's the plan here? You can get rich by yourself. You can get rich and live in an isolated area. But again, you still exist on the world, on the planet. You can't escape living on the planet unless there's another planet they're trying to go to. But if it don't work, you right back here with us. Instead of fixing the problem, all we'll do is put a bucket under this leak called money holder. Absolutely. Tony Tiger, shout out to you. All right, folks, again, you're at Ancestry Lands. You're live with Uncle Phil right now. I say Uncle Phil because I'm like the Fresh Prince. I'm Uncle Phil. I don't tolerate the nonsense, man. I don't tolerate the nonsense. I'm not here for the smithery, I'm not here for the dumb stuff, man. I'm here to talk the knowledge and get things correct now. I want an audience that is able to laugh, but able to be knowledgeable, be filled with knowledge. We're talking about something right now, folks. If you're just tuning in, coming along, we're talking about what's happening in East Palestine, Ohio, where the chemical explosion has released into, this is a gigantic disaster. Look it out. Look it up. Look it up online. It's happening. And again, the effects of this will later on, what we'll have as I get older, I'm 42 or about to be 42. Shout out to my sister Katia, man. It's her birthday today. Valentine's Day love, girl. My sister Katia, happy birthday, love. Love you to death. Shout out to her. She's in Virginia area, which I'm sure this chemical spill will be coming out there. Another shout out to Coach Greg Adams, Angry Man, and Better Bachelor, who I do watch, and Mr. Fantastic. They're all great people to talk. They talk about very different things from all different walks of life, and I support them greatly. I would say subscribe to their channels too. This story where I got let known about it was from Better Bachelor on YouTube. Shout out to him. I'm okay with giving credit, folks, to where credit is due, but it was something that I looked up, and it's got to be spread. I have a different audience. I have a different audience of people who own land, who want to buy land. And they have to understand that these ecological disasters, they will affect your land at some point. Even if your land is in another state, a lot of the properties in California, this too will be affected by this because, again, there are economical things that are happening right now that are going to affect. What's happening here will affect fishing industries down in the South and in the southern states. It's going to affect commerce in the eastern side. It's going to affect a whole lot of things that are minority. All right, shout out Taunted Tiger. No, I'm trying. I had to jump on this time. I'm going to try to keep it around this time. Taunted Tiger. Yeah, I will be on this time. I'm going to try to get on between 12 and 1. This is my first one. Thank you for jumping on, Taunted Tiger. I appreciate you. I'm gonna try to keep it the same time each time. I just started live stream. Appreciate your support. Don't forget to like, share, and donate if you will. Cash App, $ Ancestry Lands, Venmo, Ancestry Lands. Appreciate it. And appreciate the support. Love everybody. And we're going to keep this up, keep this movement going. I'm going to try to stream for about an hour just to give you kind of the nuts and bolts of things. I don't want to waste people's time. I want people to be informed, walk away. So you have something midday after lunch. Well, on the East Coast lunchtime. Adios to you, but you have something to talk with people about the rest of the day. When you have your school board meetings, when you have conversations, there are people who probably just don't know about this. Your kids need to know about this. Okay, I'm going to pretend I'm all for the climate change, right? Let's reduce our emissions. Okay, but what about the chemical stuff? It's not an emission. Okay, let me go back to this again. I love this one here because again, what are emissions? Emissions are what? What are emissions here? Okay. Excuse me. So is this an emission? Is this being emitted, like pushed out? Let me look up the definition of emitted emissions. Okay. What are emissions? Here, sorry, folks. Emissions. Okay, here we go. Good old Google. You know, I tell my kids all the time, I tell them, hey, if you don't know something, look it up. Right. So again, the climate change is that, we're emitting fossil fuels, we're changing the earth, blah, 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 blah. Right. So, that I'm not going to share the definition of if you want to look up, there's two definitions of emissions, but emission is the production or discharge of something, especially gas or radiation. Okay. The effects of lead emission on health. Is this not this plume of smoke going up into the air? Is that not an emission? And again, this won't get talked about. This Norfolk Southern train railroad. I mean, look at this. This is crazy how this looks, right? These people weren't told. They told everything was safe. Take your kids to school, no problem. The school district said this. No, they don't. They don't care about the kids. They don't care about your kids. They don't care so long as they keep the ball rolling. Keep it all rolling. They're not caring about that. That's not what they're on. They don't care. You have to care. You got to care about your kids, your community, everything. You got to be involved here, folks. You got to be armed with knowledge. So again, when the news media is trying to tell you one thing, you're seeing something else, right? It's the old nothing to see here, right? What's that meme? Nothing to see here. Here meme. What's that one here? Yeah, this is what we have here. Okay. I'm gonna go to this one right here. This is us. This is us right here. This is what they're telling you in the news right here. This is what they're telling you right here. This is what they're doing right here. Look, nothing to see here, folks. Nothing at all. This is what's happening in the country. Nothing to see here, folks. Just watch the football game. Nothing to see here, folks. Rihanna's pregnant. Nothing to see here, folks. Guess let's talk about let's go on ESPN or anywhere else and talk about and argue over millionaires still getting paid after they lost, right? I told one of the postmasters when I went to go drop some mail off. He says, the Eagles. He was telling me, oh, they don't play on AstroTurf and they don't play on AstroTurf and they don't play on grass. You know what I told him? I said, still got paid at the end of the day. Win or lose. They got paid. They're all millionaires. They can get traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, and you're the only one that's upset about it, arguing over it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not concerned about the problems of millionaires who still get $1 million, even if they don't win a Super Bowl. Only thing it means is just somebody got paid more money. And any given Sunday, you get to go back and try again. I'm heated, folks. I'm heated. Ancestry Lands is a channel. Ancestry Lands, just ask about what is Ancestry Lands. Ancestry Lands is a legacy business. I'm doing this now. My son, my 6-year-old son, he said, "Hey, Dad, you're gonna go live today?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm going to go live. I'm gonna try to go live." I'm leaving my children for all my children, all three of my children. I'm gonna talk to you right now. I am leaving you breadcrumbs, examples of my actions that when I got a business, I have a business that I was looking to make money to provide for my family. Then the business became maybe I should own more than one property. Then the business evolved to man, I could start providing properties for more people so they can become owners too, like me. And then it became something bigger. Ancestry Lands became, let me get a YouTube channel. Let me start talking to people about the benefits of land ownership. Then I went out into the community. You see me on the Melanin Market. You see me interviewing Avon Coburn, ex NFL a football player from the Detroit Lions. You see me interviewing Don Coombs. He's over at he has his STEM programs that he's doing with his wife, Lori Coombs. Shout out to the Coombs family. And then I've been with his brother Alex Coombs at About You NYC Outreach. It's becoming something bigger where people are interested in someone who's growing a message, growing, making a movement grow. And again, what I'm showing my children is that one small idea of being just a simple landowner to supporting your family became providing land ownership for other people. And that moved on to a bigger business model where I've had a team. I'm actually providing people with means to support them in their lives. I've created over 50 new landowners that are owners of property. Got testimonials on my Ancestry Lands testimonials playlist of people whose lives are changed that they've never owned property before. I've tried to talk to about African Americans about ownership. And what I see constantly is the ownership of buzzwords. We love to talk Black Wall Street. We love to talk I'm a business owner. And I always tell people in order to have a real business, you need to start getting an EIN number. You need to have a registered LLC in your state. You need to understand a DBA. You need an education on how to run your business, how to set up the structure of a business. And I mean, that's where it starts. You can always get a Cash App, all the apps and things like that. But again, we should be developing legacy businesses. Ancestry Lands is a legacy business. One day, you'll see me go to the background and you'll see my son and my daughter, my sons and my daughter step to the forefront and run the channel. It's something to pass on for them to create the message for the next generation. They're just not ready yet. But I'm leaving you all the breadcrumbs, the platform to do it on. And it's your job to take advantage of it. And now we're talking about things like the East Palestine disaster that's going to affect land ownership, property ownership, home ownership, and multiple areas throughout the United States. It's going to devastate communities. It's going to leave uninformed people down in the southern states wondering why they're sicker. And it's not just the food. It's going to leave people and wondering why their skin has issues and no one's telling them about it. This company and whatever lack of the broken axle, they should be responsible for paying for communities far into the future. If they're held responsible or found responsible, because again, an accident doesn't cover the devastation for people in the future generations. And again, why is our tax dollars not going to the upkeep and maintenance of our railway systems? Why are we always waiting until something is broken to fix it? We constantly waiting for things to break to fix them. We are not upkeeping, we are not innovating, we are not improving anything. We're not improving marriages. We're not improving relationships. We're not improving reading scores as a country. We, as the most developed country in the world, are falling farther and further and further behind. And no one seems to give a hoot. No one seems to give a flying, because again, we want booty in front of us. Whose booty? I don't know. Pick a booty, whatever. We got to talk about people's over 50s new abs they got. Who cares? This is what the news fills us up with because they're worried and no one's going to watch it. You know what? I don't care if I don't have viewers on the live stream. And thank you for the people who did show up. I don't care if my family doesn't watch this. Thank you to the people who do show up. If you're watching this on a replay, thank you for watching this on a replay. Thank you for getting this far too, because most people just don't listen to me while you're doing the dishes. Listen to what makes sense. Listen to people, someone who's actually on the ground, bringing ownership to people throughout the United States, talking about land. And when I sell a property, I don't just stop at, you can't call me anymore. They can call me, hey, do you know this person, that person? Do you have a person? I try to help them along the way. I become a lifelong friend to people who are clients to me. It's much more than money because I never know when I may need them in the future. And most of them I've never actually met. That's what we should be building. That's community. That's what community is about. Some people's community ring is much bigger than their neighborhood. My father told me this again. Shout out to my pops, man, Phil Davis Sr. He told me, son, the world is much bigger than your neighborhood. I'm telling all of my listeners, all of the 54,000 subscribers, all of the 500 plus, that's 54,000 subscribers on YouTube, all of the 500 something subscribers on Facebook, the people who watch me on Instagram, all of you, the world is much bigger than your neighborhood. To all the people who've never left their community and the hoods everywhere and the hoods and Spanish hoods, white trailer parks, wherever, the world is bigger than your neighborhood. Okay. Just understand that I'm affected by things that happen to you wherever you live. It does affect us all. With this blue marble is one marble we all live on. All right. It's time to wake up, people. Wake up. Wake up and start paying attention. Ancestry lands, don't forget, like, share, subscribe. This is my second live stream, baby. Second live stream. Last time I had like two people watching, I had like four people watching, on the live. It's all right. My time's changed, but one thing I love is I love the growth. You know, I never live streamed before. I never live streamed last year. And this year I'm 2023, I'm starting a live stream, you know. Um, it's great to be a part of the process. I think people want outcomes so much that they miss what the process is. You got to enjoy the process of growth. You got to enjoy the fact that I taunted Tiger got to comment. I'm working that out, looking at that. Someone's hearing what I'm saying. They're going to go and talk about it in their community. They're going to talk about it to their people wherever they live. And guess what? That's the impact you want to have. You don't need to be having a Ferrari to make an impact. You need to be able to touch people in their daily lives to make an impact. And sometimes it can happen right here on this live, folks. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, like, share, subscribe. Don't forget you can cash at me on small donations, dollar, whatever, it all helps keep this machine rolling. I'm going to keep trying to go live. I want my kids to be enthused about the live streams. They're excited because they see growth with their dad. What a way as a Black father to show leadership with your children by them seeing your growth, being able to look at my body of work and be inspired by it. How many other fathers out there think that we get a bad rap? But again, your children pay attention to what you do, not much of what you say. So even if you're not around or not present, they're following what you do, your actions. And that's one of the greatest gifts that I have about what I'm doing right now is my kids get to see my body of work. They may not remember who I was, but they can remember how I did things. They can remember what words I spoke, what inspirations I gave. And that's sometimes what we need, folks. The world is much bigger than your neighborhood, people. You got to pay attention to that and start giving a dang about, I don't want to say this because my kids watch my stuff, so I got to be careful about which words I use. But your Uncle Phil's telling you, folks, the world's much bigger than your neighborhood. All right. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands. Live with your Uncle Phil, baby. Ancestry Lands. We're growing. We're growing so much. This thing's getting bigger. I love it. Shout out to Eric Valdez, my posting manager. Shout out to my sister. Happy birthday, love. I love you, Katia. I don't get to talk to you that often. We're all busy with our lives, but I love you. I love all people in my family, even if they don't like me. There's some people who hate. Shout out to my cousin CJ, man. Yeah, he had a great conversation last night, but I'll talk about that another. I'm gonna save that for another live. But again, folks, pay attention to what's going on in East Palestine. Talk about it with your friends. Talk about it in your community. Talk about what's happening. Get some more eyes on that. These people need our help. These people need our knowledge. There's going to be farmland issues, agricultural produce. If you think food prices going up now, you wait till about 6, 12 months after this situation gets done. All right. And all I want to know is what alternatives are we putting in place? Is the climate change people going to be following up after the devastation is cleaned up? Are they going to be collecting soil samples? Are they going to be doing constant water tests, letting people know downstream, upstream, left stream, and right stream if the water's being affected? We should see the government from the federal to the state level to the county levels all be on high alert, ensuring that the people that vote for them, that have voted them in, are being that they're taking care of their people in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and the rest of the states. This shouldn't just be an isolated area of concentration. This should be everyone is concerned. And I don't understand. We care about the people that vote for us, but we should care about them more than just when they check off a box with our name on it, folks. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, folks. I appreciate you all. I appreciate the fact that I got people popping in and out. You build it while you fly, right? You build it while you fly, and I love it. Thank you all for listening, and thank you for giving me your time during your day. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Take a moment out to appreciate the people in your life. Take a moment to actually look at your kids or look at a loved one and actually see them. That's what I do sometimes with my kids. I look at them and I see you. Just take a moment. Remember, nothing of this lasts. One day we all go back into the dirt. with the vinyl chloride soil. All right. Phil Davis, like, share, subscribe, folks. Ancestry Lands, you know, you all
Perfect. Fire.
you all get to see me grow. All right. And thank you for being a part of that journey. I humbly appreciate and thank you so much. My family thanks you. Salute. Don't forget to donate. And $ Ancestry Lands on Cash App and Ancestry Lands on Venmo. Everything's appreciated, folks. Thank you. Take care.